Buckle up, Commanders Nation. Did you know a misstep in 1993 left us in 31 years of hell? Today, we uncover the skeleton that might repeat if Dan Quinn doesn't learn the lesson. But it's not all dark. There's a 30-5-year-old veteran making analysts cry with video game stats. How, you ask? By breaking the laws of time with tackles that smell of blood. And here's a nugget. Jacksonville is about to release a luxury piece that Adam Peters could. Snag today. This isn't just another rumor, this is war intel for those chasing the ring. Are you going to let Dallas beat us again? Subscribe before 10 p.m. or miss out on the secret tactic to sign this beast. Like now and discover in 3, 2, 1, why 2025 will be our year of vengeance. Let me take you back to 1993, a year that forever changed the fate of this franchise. Many of you don't know who Richie Pettibon is, and that's precisely the problem. This man was the defensive coordinator in 3 Super Bowls under Joe Gibbs, Super Bowl 17 and 83 against Miami, Super Bowl 22 and 88 against Denver, and Super Bowl 26 and 92 against Buffalo. Rightfully in the Commanders' Ring of Fame. But do you know the real context of that era? Washington was coming off a golden decade. Between 82 and 91, we went to 4 Super Bowls and won 3. We were the NFL dynasty. The Hogs dominated the offensive line. Art Monk was rewriting reception records. And we had one of the league's most feared defenses. When Joe Gibbs announced his retirement after the 92 season, the organization had to make the most critical decision in franchise history. Who do you hand the keys of a dynasty to? Dan Snyder wasn't owner yet. Jack Kent Cooke was in charge, and the decision seemed obvious. Richie Pettibon had been Gibbs' right hand throughout the golden era. The logic was flawless. Pettibon knew the system, the players, and had been instrumental in developing those legendary defenses. The Fun Bunch respected his authority, and veterans like Art Monk and Darryl Green had watched him work for years. But here's the biggest mistake. No one considered that being a defensive coordinator and a head coach are entirely different jobs. Gibbs wasn't just an offensive genius. He was a complete leader who could manage the entire organization. Pettibon was brilliant in defense, but never had to deal with offense, media pressure, or personnel decisions. The 1993 season began with all the optimism in the world. We had Mark Rypien, the Super Bowl 26 MVP, still in prime form. Art Monk had just completed a season with 71 receptions and 1,049 yards. Darryl Green was still the league's fastest cornerback. Jeff Bostic anchored the offensive line with 13 years' experience. Charles Mann had recorded 11.5 sacks the previous season. The roster wasn't the problem. The problem was these players were at career end and needed a leader who could manage aging veterans while developing new talent. And you know what happened in Week 1? Something magical. The Cowboys, coming off a Super Bowl 27 win, were the NFC East team to beat, but we humiliated them 35-16 at RFK Stadium. Rypien completed 19 of 31 passes for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns. Art Monk caught 8 passes for 134 yards and a touchdown. Pettibon's defense intercepted Troy Aikman twice. All of Washington thought we struck gold. The papers wrote Pettibon was here to continue the dynasty. Expectations soared. But I tell you this, that first week was a mirage hiding fundamental issues. Because you know what happened next? The franchise's most dramatic collapse. Rypien, who threw 3 touchdowns against Dallas, tossed only 1 more in the next 15 weeks. 1! He went from elite quarterback to utterly ineffective. It wasn't just Rypien. The entire offense disintegrated. The Hogs aged overnight. Russ Grimm retired after that season. Jeff Bostic lost a step. Art Monk, at 36, began to show. Age. The chemistry that made that offense special for a decade just vanished. Here's the most frustrating part. Pettibon didn't know how to adapt. As a defensive coordinator, he could focus on one side of the ball. As a head coach, he had to manage the whole operation, and clearly, he was overwhelmed. Offensive decisions were confusing, game management was terrible, and team discipline crumbled. Washington ended 4-12, the worst season since '61. But the stats don't tell the whole story. The team lost its identity entirely. The same players who won a Super Bowl 2 years earlier seemed lost on the field. The organization had no mercy on Pettibon. Jack Kent Cooke fired him immediately after the season and hired Norv Turner, an offensive coordinator from Dallas who'd never been a head coach. The irony is brutal, firing a successful defensive coordinator to hire an inexperienced offensive one. And here's the craziest part. Pettibon never returned the football. He left the NFL completely and joined his family's alarm company. The Pettibon Alarm Company still exists, run by his son Richie Jr. and grandson Richie III, with the motto, "Defense is a family tradition." This story tells you all about the brutal pressure of being an NFL head coach. Here's a man who was crucial in 3 Super Bowls, in the Ring of Fame, respected by everyone in the organization. But one disastrous head coaching season erased his legacy. Do you think this marks the exact moment the Commanders' curse began? After 1993, we didn't win more than 10 games in a season until 2024. 31 years. We didn't advance beyond the second playoff round until last year. Norv Turner's hiring didn't work out. Then came other coaches like Terry Robisky, Marty Schottenheimer, Steve Spurrier, Joe Gibbs on his return, Jim Zorn, Mike Shanahan, Jay Gruden, Ron Rivera. None could recreate the magic of the 80s and early 90s. If that surprises you, wait to hear this. Now for something completely different, something positive happening right now in Ashburn. Bobby Wagner is proving age is just a number, and Pro Football Focus has named him one of the league's best veterans still playing at peak. And this man is 35. When Adam Peters signed Wagner last year, many thought he was just a veteran to fill gaps, someone who could provide leadership but was already declining. What a mistake. This man came to Washington and instantly became our defense's heart. Do you know Wagner's real stats in 2024? A PFF grade of 88.3, the third best among 84 linebackers across the NFL. Do you know what that means? Only 2 linebackers outplayed him in the entire league. At 34, Wagner outperformed players 10 years. His junior. The incredible part. He led all linebackers in pass rush grade with 90.9. All of them. Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, Micah Parsons, all the names you know were outdone by Wagner in this category. He was second in run defense grade with 91.2, bested by only one player at the position. Let me ask, how many 35-year-old linebackers can dominate against the run and in pass rush? Practically none. Wagner is a unique phenomenon. Do you think his arrival in Washington was a coincidence? No way. Dan Quinn knew exactly what he was doing building this defense. Quinn worked with elite linebackers in Seattle and Atlanta and recognized Wagner was precisely who we needed to anchor our young defense. Here's the truth. When Jaden Daniels got all the credit last year for our turnaround, and rightly so, Wagner quietly turned our defense into a unit that shows up when needed most. While everyone talked about the explosive offense, our defense became clutch. In critical moments directly due to Wagner's leadership. My favorite Wagner stat? In third down situations, he had a tackle efficiency of 94.2%. That means when teams needed a critical play, Wagner was there 94 of 100 times. That consistency is what separates the great from the good. Let me tell you more. Wagner hails from the 2012 linebacker class, arguably the best we've witnessed in modern history. Luke Kuechly, Donna Hightower, Melvin Ingram, Lavonte David all drafted that year. Kuechly's in the Hall of Fame. Hightower won multiple Super Bowls with New England. Ingram was a dominant pass rusher for years. But do you know who's had the most consistent career among them? Bobby Wagner. While others deal with injuries or decline, Wagner keeps improving. Of those players, only Wagner and Levante David remain active, and I guarantee you Wagner plays at a higher level. Here's something wild. Wagner's been selected to the Pro Bowl 8 times, All-Pro 6 times, and was part of the Super Bowl 48 winning defense with Seattle. That pedigree isn't invented. It's earned with consistent excellence over more than a decade. What impresses me most about Wagner is his adaptability. In Seattle, he was the brain of a 4-3 defense under Pete Carroll. He hit Los Angeles and fit perfectly into Raheem Morris's system. Now in Washington, he adjusted immediately to Dan Quinn's scheme. That mental versatility is what allows great players to extend their careers. But here's the most important part. Wagner isn't here just to cash checks. This man came to Washington because he believes we can win a Super Bowl. He could have gone to any team last year, but chose the Commanders because he saw the potential. And I'll tell you this, if Wagner can maintain this level in 2025, we're going to have one of the NFC's top defenses. Imagine, Wagner at middle linebacker, Frankie Louvu on weak side, and the depth throughout our defense. A recipe for success, Doc. So let me ask, how many NFL teams have the luxury of a linebacker of this caliber at 35? The Ravens have Roquan Smith, but he's 27. The Cowboys have Micah Parsons, but he's 25. The 49ers have Fred Warner, but he's 27. We have Wagner at 35 playing better than them all, but that's nothing compared to what's coming. Commanders fans, here's what you've been waiting for. Rumors are flying that Jacksonville might cut Devin Lloyd, and I'm telling you, Adam Peters should be on the phone now. This isn't just any player. He's a former first-rounder at only 26 who could resolve our pass rush and linebacker depth issues. I say this with total conviction. After losing Dante Fowler Jr. in free agency, we have a significant gap in our defensive rotation. Sure, we signed Dietrich Wise Jr., but he's 30 and more of a compliment than a long-term solution. Lloyd is 26 with all the potential ahead, but you're wondering why Jacksonville would cut him? Let me explain the full context. The Jaguars went 4-13 in 2024, one of the NFL's worst records. Their organization has been a complete mess under various coaching regimes. Doug Peterson is fighting for his job, pressured to make drastic roster changes. Lloyd was the 27th overall pick in the 2022 draft by Jacksonville. Expectations were sky high as he came from Utah, where he was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. In his senior college season, he posted 111 tackles, 22 tackles for loss, and 7 sacks. These numbers showed incredible versatility. But what happened in Jacksonville? Lloyd had a decent rookie season with 106 tackles, but never fully developed his pass rush potential. In 2023, his numbers dropped to 63 tackles, and in 2024, they rose to 113 tackles with 7 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. Respectable numbers, but not first-round expectations, I believe. The problem isn't Lloyd, it's Jacksonville. That organization has ruined multiple draft picks' development. Look what happened with Leonard Fournette, Jalen Ramsey, Myles Jack, all flourished after leaving Jacksonville. The organizational culture there is toxic for young player development. But do you know why Lloyd could be perfect for us? Dan Quinn has a unique ability to maximize linebacker potential. In Atlanta, he developed Deion Jones and Vic Beasley Jr. in Dallas. He worked with Micah Parsons. Quinn knows how to use versatile linebackers in multiple roles. Lloyd stands 6'3" and weighs 235 pounds. Ideal measurements for Quinn's scheme. He can play middle linebacker in running downs, cover tight ends in passing downs, and has speed to blitz from different angles. Such versatility is what Quinn seeks. And do you know my favorite Lloyd stat? At Utah, he had 4 interceptions his senior year. That shows coverage instincts rarely seen in linebackers his size. If Quinn can develop that skill, Lloyd could become a unique weapon in our defense. Now, I know what you're thinking. If he wasn't good enough for Jacksonville, why would he be for us? Here's the perfect response. Because our coaching staff is infinitely better than Jacksonville's. Joe Witt Jr., our defensive coordinator, has worked with some of the best linebackers in the league. In Green Bay, he helped develop Blake Martinez and others. Witt knows how to maximize young linebacker talent. Here's the smartest part. If Jacksonville cuts Lloyd, we could sign him for practically nothing. Teams cutting first-rounders absorb all the guaranteed money. We could sign Lloyd for the veteran minimum and give him a chance to prove his worth. Adam Peters has shown repeatedly he knows how to identify undervalued talent. Javon Kinlaw arrived from San Francisco after injuries and became a solid contributor. Dietrich Wise Jr. came from New England and immediately improved our pass rush. Noah Brown arrived as a free agent and became a reliable option for Jaden Daniels. You think it's a coincidence we're discussing this just before training camp? Peters is playing chess while other teams play checkers. If Lloyd becomes available, I guarantee we'll be among the first to call his agent. Here's the perfect scenario. Sign Lloyd and put him in competition with our current linebackers. Healthy competition brings out the best in players. Frankie Louvu has been solid, but imagine competing with Lloyd for snaps. Bobby Wagner is irreplaceable, but depth behind him is invaluable. And here's my bold prediction. If we sign Lloyd, he'll become an incredible steal. Jacksonville never uses versatility properly, but Quinn will find ways to maximize his skills. Lloyd could be our secret weapon in specific situations. The window to win is open now. Jaden Daniels is on his rookie contract. We have available cap space. Our coaching staff is established. This is the perfect moment for calculated risks on players with upside like Lloyd. Let me wrap up what we've discussed because each story represents a piece of the Washington Commanders' narrative, past, present, and future. Richie Petitbin's story teaches that a single year, a single decision can change a franchise's destiny for decades. Pettibone was an excellent coach, but not the right fit for the moment. That lesson on timing and organizational fit is crucial to understanding why Josh Harris and Adam Peters have been so methodical in building the right culture. Bobby Wagner represents everything right with our organization now. Elite veterans coming here because they believe in the vision. Players not here for money or convenience, but because they want to win a Super Bowl. Wagner could have signed with any contender, but chose Washington because he sees what we're building. And Devin Lloyd represents opportunities that appear when you have a smart front office and a coaching staff that can develop talent. Not all draft picks work out at their first team, but that doesn't mean they can't succeed in the right place with proper development. Commanders fans, I tell you with total conviction, we're living the best moment of this organization in over 30 years. Josh Harris gave us the financial and organizational stability never had under Dan Snyder. Adam Peters is building a championship roster with patience and long-term vision. Dan Quinn has the precise mentality and experience we need. And Jaden Daniels isn't just our future quarterback. He is our future, but I need you to be part of this. This isn't just a season. It's the beginning of something special. Do you think we should aggressively pursue Devin Lloyd if Jacksonville cuts him? Can Wagner maintain this dominant play for another full season? And what are your thoughts on how the decisions of 1993 with Richie Pettibone changed the franchise's trajectory forever? Leave your comments below because I literally read each one. Your opinions and insights make these videos better. If you believe Adam Peters should be on the phone with Lloyd's agent right now, like this video. If you think Wagner will be our Defensive Player of the Year and take this defense to another level, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I guarantee you'll hear more explosive Commanders news tomorrow. This organization is moving like never before, making smart decisions, building for sustained success. And you can't miss a single detail of what's happening in Ashbourne. We're a family here, and each of you is part of this community that lives and breathes burgundy and gold. Subscribe if you haven't yet, turn on notifications to never miss content. And share this video with all the Commanders fans you know, because everybody needs to understand what's happening with this organization. And remember, no matter what happens, hail to the Redskins!